Sometimes the simplest foods are the most popular, like the British favorite snack, the sausage roll. Big, small, hot, cold, they just taste great. Make them fresh at home and you'll be in foodie heaven. Start with your favorite combination of ground meats. For me, it's ground pork and chicken. Today, we're preparing chorizo sausage rolls and apple slaw with chipotle cranberry dressing. I'm Chef Michael Williams, and that's what we're cooking on the coast. Glad you could join us. Your taste buds are going to be tickled today with a little British-Spanish blend. Oh, so easy to put together and so tasty. On the menu is a chorizo sausage roll with cranberry apple cabbage slaw. Let's get right into it. So, we have all kinds of stuff we're gonna do here. I'm gonna show you guys how to make sausage rolls from scratch. We have a fantastic locally made puff pastry we're gonna use. And as far as the meat goes, you've got options. You can use pork, you can use chicken, ground of course, ground pork, ground chicken, or ground beef. All of them work fantastic. Hey, even ground lamb would be so tasty. So what I'm gonna do is actually make a blend. I've got some chicken and pork ready to go here, about 1 kilogram. And we're gonna make a chicken and pork sausage roll. So that's gonna go into our bowl here. And what we're gonna do is we are going to, of course, add all kinds of great flavors, some spice, some garlic. So let's get right on this. I'm gonna chop up some garlic right now. 4 cloves. I mean, you can't have Spanish without garlic. So let's get garlic. So let's talk chilies. I've sourced a couple of fantastic chilies for this recipe. I've got guajillo and pasilla. Now you're not gonna find these at really most grocery stores. Almost nobody has them. So maybe you need to go to a Mexican specialty store. If you can't find them, it's all good. We've got other options, the standards. Hey, ancho chili powder, fantastic. You know I love that stuff. Much more easy to source, delicious chili blend. Regular chili powder is fine as well. You can also just use paprika or smoked paprika. So a few different options for chilies, but we're gonna go ahead with our guajillo and pasilla. So let's just go ahead and get about a tablespoon of each in there. These are what really, the chili powder is what really makes the chorizo. So a little bit of each of those guys. Let's go ahead and get a whole tablespoon of cumin seeds in there, okay? Toasted and ground, as always. So pretty liberal. You know what? I did two tablespoons. That's what we're gonna go with. About a tablespoon of good quality sea salt. Apple cider vinegar really makes this kind of zing a little bit. So I've got my apple cider vinegar here. I've got the good stuff, you know, the organic, unfiltered, with the mother. All kinds of great nutritional benefits to this. We're gonna go about 3 tablespoons here. As you all know, I'm always trying to incorporate more nutrition, right? I'm always substituting different ingredients to try and bring as much nutrition into my cooking as I can. Let's get into our garlic, probably one of the most nutritionally potent vegetables you can incorporate into your diet. So let's get this chopped up. I'm gonna leave it fairly rough chopped because what I want is, when I bite into my sausage roll, I wanna identify that garlic. I wanna have a little nibble. So you can see this is a good whack. This is a healthy dose of garlic. So that's looking pretty good there. We'll get our garlic into our mix. I'm gonna grab my breadcrumbs now. So we've got all kinds of great stuff in here, great moisture. There is also some fats mixed in with that ground pork, and what we want is the breadcrumbs to help bind it so that it's not too kind of juicy and spreading all over the place. So I'm gonna get about a 3/4 cup of breadcrumbs into here to help bring this all together. Our sausage is now ready to mix, and I'm gonna do this by hand. You just got to. It's the way to go. Don't be shy. You wanna get all those spices really evenly incorporated until the colors are looking great. Now what happens here, because we've got that salt in there, the salt is what makes sausage sausage. It kind of cures it a little bit, and it brings that meat together to get that nice kind of, you know, that nice sausage texture. You don't have that without the salt. So now that this is brought together, you know, within 15, 20, 30 minutes, that's what happens. We get that great texture. I'm gonna wash up and we're gonna bring this together. So of course, you want to take care of food safety. Make sure you wash your hands whenever needed. We're ready to bring these sausage rolls together. I'm going to show you just how to do that. So let's get our cutting board out of the way. I've got some beautiful puff pastry in the fridge, which I'm going to grab right now. This stuff comes out of the Cowichan Valley, locally made. Gerard's is the brand. I love this stuff. It's a great puff pastry. Now, in order to roll this out, I'm gonna put a little bit of flour down on my station here so that the pastry doesn't stick to the table. So I'm just gonna grab a little handful of the flour, spread that around, and now I can successfully roll out that puff. So here's how we go. Now, here's how it goes. I'm gonna do 2 runs here, okay? So I'm gonna take my sausage meat and I'm just gonna start, you know, free style forming it. I love rustic. I'm all about the rustic, nice, beautiful sausage rolls are, to me, a little bit irregular in shape, a little bit thicker in one spot, a little bit thinner in another. You can tell they've been formed by hand. I might have a little bit of sausage left over here, which would be just fine because I want to show you what else you can do too. You can just simply form freestyle sausage like this and cook it in your frying pan. Delicious, fantastic. And before we're ready to roll this up, we need a little bit of egg wash, which is simply eggs with a touch of water so that you can spread them easily. Probably about a tablespoon per egg. Whisk that up really well. Let's go ahead and get our sausage, or our pastry, I should say, separated. So a nice little cut down the middle here. We want to brush just a touch of egg wash right onto there so that we can seal this up. And so now, simply bring that side of the pastry over, and then at this point you can kind of adjust it a little bit. If it's way too thick in one spot, you can spread it out and then roll it onto itself. Beautiful. Now at this stage, you can cut this into cocktail size, you can cut it into bite size, or you can leave it like so, ready to be cut. Goes onto our tray. We want to brush liberally with a little bit more egg wash. Can you guys see yourselves doing this, right? How much fun would this be? It's fun, I'm telling you. I'm having so much fun right now. And for garnish sake, just a little bit more of those nice, beautiful chilies and a little touch of salt. And this is now ready to hit the oven. We'll finish this one up, 375, about 25 to 30 minutes. Beautiful. We're gonna be back later in the show to pull together our chorizo sausage rolls with cranberry apple cabbage slaw. But before that, we're hitting the road. You'll wanna stick around for that.
Cooking on the Road is brought to you by Cold Star Solutions, an integral part of Vancouver Island's grocery supply chain for 20 years.
We are on location at Gerard's Specialty Foods with Glenda, thank you so much for having us.
Thank you for coming. This is very exciting for us.
Yeah, absolutely. Exciting for me too. I'm a chef, and because I'm a chef and I've gone through my culinary school, I understand how time-consuming it is to make puff pastry.
Oh, yes.
Which is one of your specialties, is that right?
It absolutely is, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I remember when I did my apprenticeship, I was rolling it out by hand. You know, fold, 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 roll, fold. You got to layer it, and in the end, you end up with, how many layers to make a perfect puff pastry. That takes a long time, and it's not something that we all have time to do.
60 years ago, my late husband, who was our master pastry chef founder, used this old rolling pin.
That very pin?
That very pin. This is about 60, 70 years old.
Wow.
And he rolled it by hand.
Yeah.
And he took the size of these trays here.
Yeah.
And he rolled it to 16 feet.
By hand?
By hand.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So once you've got your puff pastry, how many layers does it have in the end?
Ours is 768.
Really?
Yes.
How's that even possible?
Because he made it differently.
Okay.
He had his own special way.
Yeah.
And he was 18.
Yeah.
When he was watching his instructor.
Right.
And he realized that there could be a better way, so we tried it.
Okay.
And he was selling his puff pastry all over Amsterdam.
That's amazing. Now, I've got to tell you, I've driven up here from Victoria. My tummy's a little hungry, and it's salivating at the thought of trying something.
That's what we cooked up for you.
Oh,
Absolutely.
that is incredible.
There's
Thank
chicken,
you.
there's beef, and there's a fruit strudel.
Well, maybe I'll start with fruit. Let's go with some
That's an apple,
shall we?
Yeah.
Love a good apple strudel. So light, airy, and delicate. This is a fantastic beef sausage roll. I love it. What if I try and guess what ingredients you have in here?
Oh, you can guess. It's not going to do you any good because I'm not going to say yes or no.
Well done. So you got some secret ingredients in here. So you guys are still making all these fantastic recipes. How did they get decided? You got all these wonderful fruit options.
Well, as a matter of fact, Jerry developed all these recipes 60 years ago.
Okay.
And in those days, that's all you had was the food.
Yeah.
There was no additives or supplements.
Right.
And so we didn't use them.
Yeah.
And there is no reason to use them.
So they're still just as they were 60 years ago.
Just as they were 60 years ago.
So your products we can find all over Vancouver Island?
Pretty much. We ship, and we have our own shipping.
Yeah.
We ship to Victoria, Nanaimo,
yeah,
and Salt Spring.
Oh, okay, great.
So, and that's part of our future plans to go beyond the mainland, the rest of BC.
Yeah.
We're just getting started.
So you're telling me you've been here for 60 years and you're just getting started? That's longevity.
The food, the recipes have stood the test of time.
It's back into our kitchen. We're bringing together our chorizo sausage rolls with apple, cranberry, cabbage, slaw. You know what? Wrapping meat in pastry goes all the way back to ancient Roman and Greek times, and right now it smells fantastic in here. So good. I love my sausage rolls. They're the best. I can't wait for you guys to try them. I can't wait to eat these. But before we get there, we're gonna make a delicious salad. So playing with the colors. We've got some green cabbage. We've got some purple cabbage. Let's chop up a little bit of fennel. I love this vegetable. It's so beautiful and fantastic in salads. So we're gonna, I've cut the top off here. I'm gonna reserve these little fronds, and I'm actually just gonna get them right in the bowl because these guys have fantastic flavor. Not only that, but they're beautiful, right? Are they not? I'm gonna cut this in half now though, and I'm gonna get that little core out so that I can slice my fennel into good thin slices, just like our cabbage. And then one last bit of produce into our slaw, into our salad here. Oh, this is great. The smell of fennel is so, like a little bit of licorice, a little hint of licorice. It's not super common. Not everybody uses it, but really make an effort to bring it in and give it a try because it's so tasty. I've got a beautiful, crisp red apple here, and this tool, the mandolin, okay? They come with guards. I always recommend that you use the guard. So do as I say and not as I do here. So a nice big julienne strips of apple are gonna go into our slaw. I think we're laughing there. Let's make our dressing. I've got my trusty blender jar here. I've got a couple of raw egg yolks. In they go. Now, I love showing you guys this emulsified aioli salad dressing type technique. We've got garlic. We need some vinegar, so I've got some apple cider vinegar, which I'm gonna bring into the mix. Once again, we put that in our sausage roll mix as well, right? Chipotle chilies, canned, delicious. Great shortcut to just really bring in tons of flavor. Less time, more flavor, here you go. Right in that goes. Now they've got a kick, so dial it back a little bit if you don't want it too spicy. To help balance out the heat of the chipotle chilies, we're gonna bring in some sweetness with cranberries. Okay, beautiful cranberries are gonna go into our dressing, and that's where the cranberry component comes from. And for good measure, let's go ahead and put some in our salad too, right? Why not? Let's do that. It'll add great texture and color into the salad. So let's go ahead and grab our stick blender from down low. This is my trusty tool. I use it so much. It gets a lot of work in my kitchen. Really, really good investment, these guys. So I'm gonna puree this up a little bit. Make sure that garlic in particular gets chopped. And then we're gonna start slowly adding some grapeseed oil into the mix. And just a little slow, steady stream of this oil while you're blending creates that emulsification. Because we're using raw egg yolks, we've got about a 5-day shelf life on this salad dressing, keeping it in the fridge, of course. So we're ready to mix up our salad. So we got a big bowl of slaw here. We're gonna feed a lot of people with this, so I'm gonna go ahead and add all of this, I think. So into our bowl it goes, we'll mix that together, and then we'll be ready to take a peek in our oven and see how our sausage rolls are looking. I think they're pretty much there. Bring this together with our tongs. Isn't that salad dressing color beautiful? It's so vibrant and red. I can't wait to put this on the plate with my sausage rolls. In fact, I can't even wait to taste it. Oh my goodness. The smokiness of the chipotle, the sweetness of the cranberry. This slaw is dynamite. You're gonna love it. Let's take a peek at our sausage rolls and see how we're looking. Oh, am I right? Like, check this out. Can you see yourself making these? So much fun, so delicious. Let's plate this up right away. So we've got this beautiful slaw. I'm just gonna pile it up on one corner of the plate here, nice and high. Big dose of veggies. Big dose of nutrition. And you can see I cut some of these a little bit smaller. They're good to go. Finish it off with just a little pretty garnish. Pea shoots are the bomb for garnishing. I love them, super effective. And hey, good nutrition in them too. There you have it. Chorizo sausage rolls with apple, cranberry, cabbage slaw. You are going to love it.
Pairings are brought to you by Liquor Plus. Discover the plus.
When you make a delicious artisan sausage roll, you need a fantastic pairing to go with it. We have Spencer from Clos de Soleil.
Yes,
did I pronounce that right?
You did.
Awesome.
Yes.
Thank you for coming to the kitchen. So I gave you a bit of a heads up. I'm making, a nice bold flavor chorizo sausage roll. We've got a cranberry apple chipotle slaw going on here. So a few flavors to play with. How did you decide to pair it up?
Well, given the fact that there's some spice in this dish,
Yep.
this is a one wine called Celestial. This is our second red, but it's a little more ripe fruit forward than our big Bordeaux-style red.
Okay.
And so we thought those ripe sort of fruit flavors coming forward, a little more New World style, would actually match up with this dish with both the pastry and the chorizo sausage.
Consider me intrigued. I'd love to give it a try.
Well, I'd be happy to pour.
All right.
And given that this is an artisan dish, we're an artisan winery, so that's a perfect match.
I think you might even be outdoing me a little bit by the sounds of it. So Clos de Soleil, tell us a little bit about the winery.
So we're a small boutique winery in the Similkameen Valley, which is a separate appellation than the Okanagan, and it's just to the west and to the south. And we have a different soil structure there than the Okanagan, different water supply, and very lots of heat, which allows us to ripen up our Cabernet Sauvignon, our Merlot, and our Cabernet Franc, which are key components of this wine, along with Malbec and Petit Verdot.
This is fantastic.
Thank you.
It's so fruity.
Yeah.
A lot of flavor to that. Delicious.
Yeah, we ferment this in concrete fermenters that we brought over from France.
Okay.
And then it spends 15 months in French oak barrels, and that provides that nice sort of depth to it and the classic flavor profile to it.
It's beautiful.
Thank you.
So I'm loving that. I'm going to see how the sausage rolls go beside this.
I've heard good things about these sausage rolls, so I'm dying to try them.
I guess I should be eating with a fork and knife with a wine that's delicious. Okay, so you know what? This is hitting the mark for me. Very nice pairing. I could see enjoying these two things together again and again.
Actually, I think it's a very good match. Like I say, the fruit stands up to the sausage and the pastry itself.
Yeah.
And this has got, a little bit of tannin backbone to it, and it's got a little bit of spiciness to the wine that I think matches up nicely there.
Yeah,
so it is a good match for sure.
I think you nailed it.
Yeah.
Now, I'm very intrigued by this giant bottle here. Tell me.
We love these big bottles.
Yeah.
So this is called a Gerard. It's a 3-liter bottle of Signature, which is our flagship red.
That's
so this
4
is
bottles.
So that's 4 bottles.
Okay.
Yeah. So and there's this famous quote that dinner's better when you eat together.
I've heard that before.
Have you heard that before?
Nice.
Okay, well, I think if you have a dinner party with 10 or 12 people, having one of these bottles of wine and you put it on the table,
so much fun.
It just sets off the whole tone of the evening.
I'm with you.
So
Thank you. Thank you once again for coming down. Check out our website where you'll find the lowdown on today's show. I'm Chef Mike, and like the man said, don't forget, dinner's better when we eat it together.